Still on data cleaning. If you can still remember, I said data cleaning is a must assessment you must do on a given data as a data analyst in order to check if there are error, and then if there is, then you need to remove them. To involve the process of reprocessing or assessing your data, perfecting it. In other words, to remove all the errors that could hinder your analysis outcome or influence it negatively. That could also lead to wrong prediction. So I told us that there is a major component in Power BI which is responsible for anything that has to do with data cleaning, which offers us a bunch of functions for perfecting our data before we can start modeling them. I mentioned that component as Power BI query. Power BI query. And then we have started looking at how to exploit some of its data cleaning function, particularly the ones that pertain to cleaning data along the column axis. So let's just quickly consider the ones for rows, and then we can now start the modeling. Okay, so I said once you have loaded your data into Power BI data pane, I told you that the whole of this section is called data pan. This is where all the loaded data are listed. So it is now left for you to consider which one you want to analyze or you want to clean up for analysis. So in this case, I've loaded two different data sets. One is Amazon data, one is data as by name. Now, ordinarily, as you were loading in this data, there was an option for us to have migrated to the data cleaning interface. Remember, there was a place where we have load, then we have data transform while we were loading the data. But we click on load. So in other words, even after loading your data into the dashboard or Power BI working environment, you can still redirect the data to the cleanup environment. So how do we do that? I said you click on the particular data you want to clean. Let's say I want to clean this particular data. So you must select one of your data from here, and then you click on home. So from home, you come to transform data. If you can still remember, then you click on the first option. And if you hover on that first option, you see the toolkit that came out that says what? Use the Power Query Editor to connect, prepare, and transform data. This is what I'm looking at. Look at this. Once you hover on this, there is a message that will come out, which is actually explaining the role of that particular component. Are you seeing it? Use Power Query Editor to connect, prepare, and transform data. So I will simply click on it. So once you select it, that will migrate you from your reports dashboard to the Power Query, which is where you can access those functions for cleaning or perfecting your data. So let me wait for it to load. I think it's still loading. Okay, so this is the Power Query interface. Now, I will just quickly complete the cleaning techniques that are based on rows, because we've dealt with much on cleaning techniques that are based on column. So let's write that. Data cleaning, Power BI data cleaning functions based on rows. Good. Row cleaning what? Techniques. Good. Now, like I was taking them when we were on column cleaning techniques, I'll be looking at tasks. So I'll be assuming tasks that could lead to applying some of these functions. Now, like this data set now, and even we discovered that there are some rows with error, and we are asked to delete, let's say what, subselected rows or the first 10 rows. So how do we do that? You can see this section that says what, keep row and what, remove row. So the whole of this part is responsible for cleaning data along what, the row axis. So let me take the ones under keep rows first before we look at the ones under remove rows. So under keep rows, we have a couple of options there. We have the first one, which says keep top rows. Keep top rows. So this is just like a task that says you should keep the first 20 rows or the first what, 10 rows at the top. So if I click on this, for example, it's going to prompt me a dialog box asking me to specify how many rows do I want to keep at the top. So I can say, okay, I want to keep what, 20, and then I click OK. So if you look at what has happened so far, so I have now only what, 20 what record in the whole of this data set. So which means the instruction will have been that you are to delete what, any record below what, 20. Good. So sorry, that should be, is it below 20 or?
Below 20.
Yeah, below 20. Good. So that kind of instruction, you can just achieve it. Now, don't forget, I said, when you perform any operation here, Power BI will track it. So you can undo it without following any particular order. So I can just click here and then it will return that effect. Good. Now we're still on keep row. The second option says what? Keep bottom what? Rows. So which is like opposite of the first one. So in other words, you are keeping from the bottom. So let's say from the bottom, I want to keep the last 20 what? Rows. So I'll click here. So the same thing. So now I have 20 what? Rows. Are you following? Hope you are getting it. Good. So I'm still exploring the cleaning techniques under this particular section. The next one is keep range of rows. Keep range of rows. So keep range of row. This is where you'll be given two boxes for you to specify. So in this case, you'll be the one to specify the range of the rows to keep. So I can say first, keep the what? The first, okay, let's say 10. First row, 10. Then to what? To let's say 30. So in other words, you are saying that what from number 10 to number 30.
81 to 9 and
Good.
31 to
Good, exactly. So that is what you meant by entering those values. So these are different things based on the kind of cleaning you want to perform. Now we have this one, which is very important. This one, which says keep duplicate. Now, this is another way you can easily check if you have duplicate. Remember, I told you that in some cases, duplicates are very dangerous. And what this program will see as duplicate is if what you have here, what you have in the first column is the same across what? The entire root before it can see it as duplicate. So if I select keep duplicate, if at the end of the day, you can see that what? It retain only duplicated based on the column that I selected. Is that not? I think is that
Amazon.
that no, not Amazon. Was it Amazon? Yeah, it's the Amazon. Yes.
My own Amazon is found.
Yes, I think it's Amazon. Let me see. It should be Amazon now. Region. Yeah, it's Amazon. It's Amazon. So keep error is another option. So this keep only rows containing errors in the current selected column. So now there's a way you can use them to really make some findings in your data. You know, if I say keep error, if it keeps any value, if it does not empty it like this, if you at the end of implementing this, if you can see one row, it means that what there's error according to its assessment. So for it to be empty like this, what there's no error. So as a data analyst, this will confirm to you that what you are analyzing what error-free data.
Is it based on this?
Yeah, based on this. Yeah, based on this. Yes.
on this
Yeah,
column.
because these are rows now, rows in that column. You know, we are taking it like this, but it's assessing it this in this particular row. Maybe the way you selected your own. How did you select your own that it was not showing there? You were saying that it was not applying like mine. How did you select the column before?
Okay, you selected it based on the criteria of the column.
Yes, yes, yes. So in that particular, yes, exactly. Maybe that's why your was not working based on the column you were selecting.
I have decided to put it like in jargon to show duplicates.
Okay,
But I
good.
selected based on this unique ID, invoice ID.
Yeah,
There was no duplicate.
yeah, definitely. So now let's quickly explain this section before we go for data modeling. Now, remove top row. This is just like the opposite of what we are doing. Keep top row, remove top row. Remove bottom what? Rows, the same thing. Remove alternative row. What that means is that this is the first one, this is alternative. So it's just be removing the alternative what? Row. Then remove duplicates. So this one, you can also use it to check if you have duplicate. Remove blank rows. This one is very important. There are some data you might be given, you have a lot of blank what? Rows. So you know that they will end up just populating the data, increasing the number of rows in that data set. So this can be very valid. So with this will empty all the empty what? I don't want to reverse that because I don't want empty what? Rows. So remove error, the same thing. So these are the different techniques regarding to cleaning rows. So you can also select a particular row and right click. You can use some shortcut. You can right click and then see if it's permitting you. Because I know most of the right clicking will work with the column if you right click. So if there's no question, then that's I will now assume that you now have the data cleaning skill on Power BI before we go. Okay, yeah, okay, the step, right? Okay, go to home and then click on data transform. Click on data transform. That is how I got here. So let me exit. Click on data transform. That is what I did. Look at it here. Yes, you click here. Yes, then you select removing rows. All right, so if there's no question, should I give you some time to try? You can always try them now. They are very simple. Yeah, simple compared to the one we did. They're almost the same application. Okay, so that would usher us into report modeling. That is the new topic now. Report modeling with Power BI DAS inbuilt functions. Report modeling with Power BI DAS, that's data analytics expression. Yeah, with Power BI DAS inbuilt function. With Power BI
Data analytics source.
Data, that is report modeling with Power BI DAS, data analytics expression. Data analysis expression.
That it inbuilt.
Report modeling with Power BI DAS.
Report modeling with
Power BI DAS. So I was giving you the full meaning of that DAS as
there was something you called before. Report modeling with DAS inbuilt.
Yeah. Report modeling with
DAS
inbuilt functions. Now, remember that when we started, can you remember how I describe all this visualization? Remember, I refer to them as models. Now, in this context, models are like structures which are used to present or draw insights from a given data set. Because I want you to pay attention because this is the main aspect of this program now. Now, your ability to use these models, which are called visualizations. This word visualization is derived from their output. So they are describing them based on what they give. But if you look at the real definition, they are called models. In other words, you are given a data set like this with these headers. And as a data analyst, your responsibility is to draw what insights that can influence smart what decision making, right? Now you need this model to help you drill those insights from the data. So the presentation of those insights derived with the model, they are what we are calling what? Visualizations. And that is why we did said at the beginning that Power BI is one of the best analytics what tool for visualizing what? Insight data. Why? Because of the presence of what? Different model depending on the insights. If you want to perform statistical analysis, there is a model. So all these are model. So we are going to be looking at this model. So this is actually what you are to learn. How do I use this model to analyze data? How do I use this one to analyze data? How do I use this one to analyze data? Now, the process of engaging them to analyze data is called what? Report modeling. So if somebody asks you now, if you claim you know Power BI, can you use DAS function to model? Now, let me.
That function is data analytics.
Good. Now, let me connect.
That's what?
Yes, expression. Now, let me connect that
Okay,
DAS. That is DAS. Now, let me connect that DAS to this. Look up. So that you know the relationship between the DAS and the model. This model, the engine that fund them, that makes them to work, is the DAS. So that DAS is the data language used by Power BI, which used by Power BI to attach functions that we enable them to analyze what? The insights from the data. So as you are seeing all of them now, they are already built with function, with that function. So I said inbuilt. Why? Because we'll get to a point whereby we will start learning how to create those functions by ourselves. Because there are times that some of them may not align with the analysis tasks. So you have to also learn how to develop your own. That's why I say the one I'm focusing on in this session, they are the inbuilt. I'm not going to create. In the next class now, you see how I will start what? Developing that function. No longer depending on the inbuilt. Are you with me? Do you understand it first?
Yes.
Good. Now, the combination of the report, the insight that will be derived with one or two of this model is what forms your dashboard. If I use this one now to draw the first insight and I put it here, I use this one now to draw another insight and I put it here. I use this one now, draw another insight and I put it here. All of them together in this particular dotted section is called what? The dynamic dashboard and the interactive dashboard we are talking about. In other words, any report you create here with any of this model, automatically they are connected. You don't need, once you filter one, it will affect other. You know, like I said, when we did pivot table, we have to do manual connection.
Yes.
This one does not need it. Once you create a report here, automatically any report, so long that report is within this dotted area, is connected by default. Good. Now, let's look at the steps. What are the steps? Okay, let me just give you an intro to that topic so that you understand. Let me try and summarize some of this explanation. What is report modeling? Right. Report modeling in Power BI. Report modeling in Power BI. Report modeling in Power BI is the process of using the models. In brackets, this model can also be called as as different structures. Is the process? Yes, they can also be called different structures for presenting insight. Good. I said, is the process of using what?
All different structures.
Yeah, different structure for presenting insight. Then you can close the bracket. Now, just to explain what the model are. I said, is a process of using Power BI model to analyze.
In the process.
Yes, it's a process of using Power BI models to analyze data for decision-making insight. For decision-making insight. For decision-making insight. So as a data analyst, why are you using the model? The model are actually the tools you are using to draw what? Your findings from the data. Are you getting it now? So that is why you cannot say that you can draw findings from this data when you don't know how to use what? The models. Then note, the models are driven by Power BI DAS functions. The models are driven by Power BI DAS functions. So always know that they are built on top of what? Functions, or functions are built in them. So they are not just ordinary structure. These are structures that have been wired with some function. That is why once you give them data, the function will what? Will react and do the analysis and tell you this is the outcome. Are you with me? Okay, now, what are the steps to follow for you to model reports? To use this model to model insight with your data, what are the steps to follow? Number one, view your data in a tabular form in order to draft effective analysis questions. View your data with table view. Let me just summarize it. Look up a second. Remember we talked about this. Because by default is in what? Report view. So before you start modeling, try as much as possible to view it in what? Table view. Where did you stop there? I think
it's table view.
Good. In order to draft effective analysis question to be analyzed with the model. In order to draft effective analysis questions to be analyzed with the model. So which means that you must have, factored out the questions. You must have identified the questions you want to answer with the model. Remember, I've said it before that in this field of data analytics, if you understand the protocol, it's very simple. One, what you are looking at is what? The insight, right? Before you get that insight, which will be used to make that decision, you need to understand that at first, questions, you need to know how to draft your analysis question, because your analysis question is what will guide you in reaching what? Those insights. So once your analysis question drafting is weak, automatically what? Your insights will be weak. So that's why we are saying that, yes, you want to deploy any of this, but you need to first of all identify what exactly do you want them to do for you. That's why I said, and if you are looking at the data in a report view like this, you cannot get those questions. So you have to switch to what? Table view. So once I switch to table view, you will see that I have the data in spreadsheet format now, column and row. So from here, I will be able to know, okay, I have region, whether all the values I have there, they are all unique. I need to check. Now, country, item type, says what? Channels. Now, I will check where I want to focus my analysis on. My analysis will be focused on the summary of what? Total profit based on what? Region. That is one question. Let's write it down. Let's write 3 questions down. The first question is that from the sales Amazon data, analyze the total sum of profit, total sum of profit. From Amazon data, analyze the total sum of profit per region. Total sum of profit per region. That is one question. Are you with me? So the second question is also analyze. No, it's okay. Okay, now the second question is that also analyze the total numbers of transactions per region. The total numbers of transactions per region. This one will involve counting. That's function. While the other one will involve sum. Are you following? Okay. Now, look up. Let me answer these two questions before I allow you to also answer the same question. Now, you can see that as I switch my data to table view, it was easier for me to what? To really good. So I'll take it back to what? To the report view. Now, I will now ask myself, based on the first question, which of this model, this is aggregate analysis, this is comparison analysis, this is not single metric analysis. Single metric analysis is where you are saying the total sum of everything, one value. But now you will list out the unique region, right? And summarize what? The total profit against each of them. That means it's comparison. Yes. At the end of the day, you are expected to present a report that says this is the region that did better, followed by this. This is the one that did what? Worst. You need to also observe and draft that. So based on that, I will use either this table. So table is one of the best model for comparison or categorical what? Analysis. So I'll click on the frame. Once I click, it will add it here automatically. So this is an empty container, an empty model. So this model is expecting you to supply data into it. And this model as it is now is already built with those functions. So once it receives data, the function what? We analyze it. That is the level of the AI each of them has. Now, the question involved two headers, which you must know. The first header is what? Region, right? Yes. The second header is what? Total profit. Now, you always start analyzing the string, the text, the header with the text, which is what? Region. So you will drag region and put it inside it. It will analyze the unique value inside the region automatically.
You just drop it anywhere.
Anywhere within that frame.
Yes.
Good. Now, this is the list of what? The unique what? Regions. Now, you are analyzing the total profit against this listed what? Region. So you can just turn it on since you are already selecting it, or you total profit. Yeah. So you can drag it and also put it inside. You can see it now. So now, the next thing I want to do is to format it so that the value can be what? Visible. So every model has its own formatting, which is this. So you switch from what? Build visual to what? Format. Meanwhile, you must have selected what? The particular report. That model generated what? This report. And what this is inside. Good. So now you just want to make it more visible. So this formatting now is divided into visual and what? General. The visual focuses on the values inside the container, while general focus on the what? The container formatting itself. Did you get that logic?
No.
Now, this is a container. You know, we added the visual, the model before we put data inside. That is a different body before the data coming into it, right? Now, if you want to transform what is inside, which is the data, you use what? The formatting features under what? Visual. Are you following? Now, if I want to format the model itself, the container itself, I will switch to general. Just watch now, you see it. Now, I want to work on the value. So I'll click here. Let's pay attention. I want to work on the values. I want to transform because I'm not seeing the value. I know whether you are seeing them very well. Because this is a dashboard that we are designing, and your dashboard the value must be visible. Now, once you expand the value, you have bold. Just watch what will happen now. Can you see it? If you want to increase the size, you increase the size here. Then if there's a way you increase the size, you have to expand the frame to accommodate them. So I'll keep increasing since I have enough space now. So I can just stop here. Let's say this one here. Now, that is for the color, I want to make it dark black. If I want to change the color, then remember that color combination matters here when you are building dashboard. So you must not choose color anyhow. Make sure that you are using simple color like 2 colors or 1 color or 2. Good, exactly. Then I'm still, if I want to work on the background, I will just select here. That is alternatively. That's why you can see here, look at this, alternative text color, alternative what? Background color. So I want to leave this one to be white. Why I have this one like this, just a design. So I don't want to tamper with this. Then I'll now go to column headers. Column header, once you click, you check which one is transferred. That is what? The header, that is the region and what? The sum of total. You want to format now. Then the same thing, you change the color, then increase the size to go with the other information a little. Then you can work with alignment, which side of, alignment, whether center, left, or right. Now, let's look at totals. This is going to format what? The total. Total. If for any reason you want to change this to maybe total sum, maybe you want to add to it, let's say total what? Sum. You can see that I've been able to what? To add to it.
How did you go there first of all?
From here now.
Okay.
Look at it. Let me just go back. This is the model. I click on it. After that, then I switch from this to what? To this. Format visual. Then I now click on value because I'm focusing on the value first. So it's under value that I have explored so many things here. This is one I use for the header. Now, just to allow you to practice, so if I want to work on the background now, you see that I switch from what now? The visual to what? General, which means that I want to focus on what? The model itself, not the value is holding. So I will now go to what? I will now go to effects. We are still going to be using more of these things. Then I cannot choose a background. You can see it now. You can see that background is for the model. So I can reduce it. That is if you want the model to stand out from other ones. So you can use background if you like. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you before you practice is that this particular model, I want to copy it and give a graph of it so that I can easily identify my trend and pattern. Do you understand it? So you just click on it and then you go to what? Copy. And then you click on paste. So you have duplicated the entire model, then you drag it. I'm forming my dashboard. While I'm leaving here now, probably the next class, I will teach us what is Power BI card. That is what I will use to decorate the whole of this top here. Now, I want to switch this value. Instead of presenting them with table, I want to present them with what? Any of this graph. So I'll just click once I'm on it. It will automatically what? Convert it to what? Graph.
Where did you get the graph from?
Here. These are the model now.
Okay.
What I did is this, like this one now, I click here, let me do it again. And then I what? Copied it, then paste it, then take it out. Let's say I want to put another graph here. Or let me put it here, because you have to make sure you form a very good design. So let's say this one now, since I have a bar chart, I want to change it to another graph, maybe like pie chart. So you just click here, you see it now, this is a pie chart. So the essence of this one is for you to know, okay, which one is the high. You know, you are going to write concluding report. So this one now, okay, sub-Sahara. You know, you have to also format this. So I will deal with formatting in the next class properly so that you can be writing this step. What I'm doing is that so that you can be practicing something before the next class. So I want to pause with the remaining time. Give me something like this so I can guide you before I leave. So just go there and start. The second let's go to the second question. The second question is, read it out. What is the second question?
Analyze the total numbers of transactions.
Analyze the total number of transactions. Now look at it. What you have analyzed here now is the sum of total profit.
Yes.
Per what? Now the company wants to know how many transactions happen that produce each of these. So now that is still aggregate analysis. So which means that I can still use the same word table.
Yeah.
So what I will do is this, look up, I'll click on the table, just focus. Then after this, I will activate what? The same region. I don't want to copy, I want to take it afresh. Then I will now select what? The total what? Profit. You can see that I'm not dragging again, no.
Why?
That is another way. Once the model is on, any header you are clicking knows where the values are to go. You understand this? So now if you touch that region now, without dragging it, just turn it on there. It will output the analysis. So if you turn on the other one now, good. Do you understand? Good. Now look up here. Now, the question we are answering how to do with counting. So what you do is this. You see the header that you added, they are here.
Yeah.
I can as well delete them from here and add them here. I drag and put them here, drag this and put it instead of, but there's no need for that. Now, I want to switch. By default, Power BI DAS will be calculating with sum. But this second question mentioned counting, right? So what I will do is to switch from sum to what? Count. So to do that, this is the one that is counting. So you right click on this. You see there are sum. This is the average we as a minimum. So I will switch from sum to what? Count. It will present it in what? In counting.
This is what they're doing head office.
So you understand that? Yes. How to copy from. Now you have taken your time to format this to this appearance. Now you know that is what you will have done here. Now you don't need to do that. Just take your time where you are creating your dashboard. Perfect one. After that one, click on that one. Then come to what? Format what? Painter. Then touch this one. You see what I did now? So if I double click here now to bring it back, just like what I was telling you now. So I've saved my time from each one formatting. So it's just for you to take time to format one of them to be good, and then you just copy the format using the format painter. So we will stop here. What you do is that get different data sets. You understand? Perform different analysis just to master this model. Remember that it's only one model, it's only two models that we have learned now. This one and what? This.
Okay.
So in the next class now, I will use other model.